Hi. Document validation is arguably one of the most useful things there is when it comes to working with documents, especially after OCR extraction. So, some of the things that we commonly see all the time is with validating rate confirmation to freight invoices, or maybe even a three-way match between freight invoices, BOLs, PODs. In some cases, this could also be purchase order to invoices. So you have many types of use cases where you would want to match data coming in from documents. And today I'm going to show you exactly that. What we have today is a three-way match between a freight invoice, a bill of lading, and a proof of delivery. So I have with me here a set of four shipments, and we're going to be validating for identity checks. We're going to be validating for volume and quantity checks. And finally, we are also going to be validating with line items in a freight invoice. So, as with any workflow, the first step is to have a way to get these documents into Docxster. Now, these could be by integrating directly with your email, Gmail, Outlook, or any other kinds of mail server, or from an external applications like TMS, WMS, ERPs, or even from a manual scan or a picture. In this case, I am going to create a human input as a form. We're going to title the form three-way match demo, right? So we have inputs over here. The first input is going to be upload the freight invoice. The field type needs to be a file. Now this can accept invoices in the forms of PDFs or even images like PNGs. I'm going to mark that as required. Next one is upload bill of lading. Mark that as a file required. Speed up a little bit over here. Upload proof of delivery. Great. File required. So I have my test URL in here. I'm just going to copy that, open that in a new page. Yes. So we have the form that has already been created. I'm going to hit test trigger and proceed to upload the files in its respective places. Now for this demo, I'm just going to follow a happy path where everything's going to line up and match perfectly. And then we're also going to try some edge cases where things do not line up as well. Great, we have it. Submission was successfully received. That means I should be having the files in here. Great. Now that we have the files inside Docxster, what we're gonna do is you can always have a response being sent like, okay, thank you for submit. You may now close close the window. This is in case if you're ever having a customer or a shipper upload the files directly onto your platform and you want to provide a form to your partners, you could have something like this followed by a success email or notification. Great. So what I'm going to do next is extract information from the file. So I'm going to select the freight invoice, and I already have made the document schema for the invoice, which means, and the BOL and the POD, which means that I have customized what kind of information and in what format I need this information to come into Docxster. And I will link a video to this video so that you know how to create your own document schemas. I'm going to select invoice in here. Very importantly, I have to toggle on the support validation toggle switch, test that step. Great. We have Docxter's OCR has already picked up customer code, invoiced weight, invoiced pellets. And if you see here that it's picked up 8400, let me pull that up by the way. We have the proof of the freight invoice. So this is 8400 with the comma, but I have customized it so that it forgets all the commas and gives me the numbers in pounds only so that Tomorrow, even if somebody sends a weight in kgs, it's going to turn it into pounds itself, so it's easier to compare. And all of these fields. And a very good practice is to name your workflows. Let's say document upload, and here I'm going to be like extract freight invoice details. Great. I'm going to add in very quickly a couple of more OCR options. One is to extract bill of lading and follow the same process once again. BOL support validation test. Great. So we have the bill of lading details also being extracted in this demo. And finally, we have extract proof of delivery. So I have my POD document type as three-way match POD. Toggle on the support validation, hit test step. Great. So now I have my invoice, I have my BOL, and I have my POD. I could use this data downstream in any kind of ways that you need. You want to route it through to a different TMS, WMS, or ERP, that could be done. But right now we are validating, so I'm going to add in a validation, level validation feature that we have right out the bat, and I'm going to name this as identity check. So for the purpose of this demo, we're going to check if the BOL is matching across, BOL number is matching across all the three documents. We're also going to be looking for PRO number matching across all the documents. And also we're going to be seeing if the quote number is matching in the BOL and the freight invoice, as well as the carrier name in the BOL and the POD. Right. So I'm going to add them real quickly. We have, okay. Now is my BOL number, which is right here, is it matching exactly with the BOL number on the BOL? So I have the BOL labels in here. I'm going to hide that. Where are you? Yes. Okay. And also, if the BOL number from the BOL is exactly matching with the BOL number on my proof of delivery. There we go. I can have maybe another rule check for PRO number on my BOL. Is it exactly matching with the PRO number on my proof of delivery? And I could have maybe another rule which says, is my carrier name from the invoice is exactly, or you could also do a fuzzy match in case you have ABC shipper, ABC shippers, or ABC shippers, INC. You could always do a fuzzy match with a low, high, or medium confidence score. Yeah, that was actually right. Okay, go ahead and test that step. Let's see. So I have, since these are very identical documents, or rather matching documents, I was expecting a true result over here. So my rule 1, rule 2, and my rule 3 says true. What happens if the identity checks are passed? I can have kind of an if loop going in here, or a router where if it's not matching, I could, did I select myself as the signee? No. So I have to select somebody who needs to do the validation checks in case it's not passing, right? Okay. So router, this is the message that I'm going to get if everything is clear. And I'm going to select my first out of the way, exactly matches with this. That means if it's true, it's going to say, yeah, branch one, this is what's going to be followed. But let me write an exception in case it does not go through. So I'm going to go in here, add my email address, send it to myself for the purpose of this demo. There we go. I can get creative in a way. I can write the BOL number by itself, identity check failed, right? I can have, hey, Ramsey, the identity check for BOL 2024 dynamic value has failed. Please log into Action Center, validate. You could test that step. I'm going to get an email in my inbox. I can put a sender name as three-way match. Okay, great. What happens if the identity checks have cleared? Next, I'm going to go in for another validation step, label validation, and I'm going to name this quantity and weight check. Okay. So essentially, we're going to be seeing if the total weight is matching across the BOL and POD, invoiced weight against the invoice and the BOL, and maybe we can also check the total number of pallets that are there on the BOL is matching with the delivered pallets on the POD, also with the total number of pieces as well. So there are about four rules. I'll quickly add them. On the first one being the total weight. Let's quickly select them in here. Total weight is, since it's a number is equal to total weights delivered weights. Okay, that's my rule number one. And my next rule is going to be, again, if the total weight on the bill of lading is number is equal to my invoiced weight or here. Yeah. Great. Next, we're going to be quickly checking for pallets committed in the bill of lading. Is it equal to pallets delivered? And maybe finally another rule to include the total number of pieces from the bill of lading. Is it matching with the one in the POD? Great. If everything goes well, it's going to be true, 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 true. Perfect. And name myself as the signee. Okay, there we go. Now, once again, we can have a similar setup with a router which says, once again, is my previous condition exactly matching with this? And if I test that, it's going to give me branch from that test. Yes, it has come true. But if it had not, I can also zoom out here. Okay. Duplicate this, put that in this, and I can write quantity and weight check failed. Put that in here as well. Quantity and weight check for this failed. Perfect. Finally, we are going to be checking for the line items in the invoice. So we're going to be checking if there has been any kind of calculation error here. That means is $38 per weight multiplied by this. Is it matching with this? 18%, 18.5% of base rate, is it actually 18.5% of 8400, and we're also going to be checking if the total is matching with this total. So for this, we are using a very versatile tool called Code, where you can also have custom codes inputted in here. And for the very first one, I'm going to take in, let's say, the invoice weight, which is going to be, and rate, which is going to be, once again, here, gotta actually take the values here. So I'll have to search for the value text, yes. And similarly here, I'm gonna take the invoiced weight as this. Okay. We're gonna write a bit of code here, but not to worry. I already have that saved here. And 3192, that was the value that I was looking to get. So I'm going to name this as base rate calculations. And we have the next one, fuel calculation. And for fuel calculation, I would be needing the base and the fuel percent. Whatever your requirements are, we can definitely help you out with that and build these custom workflows no matter how complex your requirements may be. So that's my base 3192, and my fuel percent is right about here. Great. So I think I should be getting the value 59052, which I have already got, and rename this as fuel calculations. And finally, another piece of code just to calculate the total. Calculate total. We have the accessorial charges, we have the base rate, and we also have the fuel. Great. Simply going to map out these values of fuel surcharge amount of 590.52. We have the base rate was right here, and we have the accessorial. Yep, got that. Great, 3857.52, which is exactly what I needed. Once I have all of that, we're gonna have another validation table here, and this time I am going to be checking for three things. Is my invoice total, let's say, total due, got that, is exactly equal to my total calculated total. That's my rule number one. I have my rule number two as base rate, which is what should be right about here, is exactly matching with the calculated base rate. Okay, fine. That's enough. outside rules. So we can have rules within rules as well. That's what just happened here. And also, finally, my fuel calculations. Or did I already do my fuel calculations? That was total. That's my base. I'm going to look for my fuel calculation. Is it is the number is equal to my calculated fuel? Okay. Assign myself as the validator. I got an error here which says text exactly match. So if you have got that, you need to know that you have marked this as text matches, whereas it's actually, once again, I'm going to copy this and have a router here. At this point, really, you can just, if it's all validated, send it through finance or send it to your accounting software. But in my case, just for the demo, we're going to show a success message. We're going to show a success email. So this has evaluated to true. I'm just going to copy this, duplicate that. Actually, also copied that. Copy this, duplicate this once again. And yeah, so this is success email. I'm gonna say BOL is validated and all line items from invoice for this particular BOL has passed all checks. Please pay or collect USD. Total amount is right here. Okay. And similarly, we can send a failure message. Fail message. And here, invoice check failed. And an appropriate email to go along with that. Say invalidated. Simple. Publish. So we are done. And let's say three-way matching demo. Okay, I like to save my workflows. And it's as simple as running it in this fashion. So I will take the published form because we've finished creating the workflows, and I'll show you how a happy path works. Once again, I'm going to take in my invoice, my ABOL, my APOD, yeah, submit. The submission is successfully received. So if I go into my platform, if I click on runs, I can see that it's processing. So it has taken in the documents, responded on the UI, and right now it is extracting the freight invoice details, and very quickly it's going to move on to bill of lading. Once bill of lading is done, it's going to go into proof of delivery, and we see how quickly it moves after that. It's right now extracting all the details, and yeah, it's about done. Let me log into my email and hopefully I should have received an email. Yes, it says, "Hey Ramsey, all line items from invoice for BOL blah 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 has passed all checks. Please pay USD 3857.52." So we've seen how that works, and if you want to see a couple of demos for how it would not work, I would just refresh this, select my B invoice, select my BBOL and my BPOD. So I have designed this in a way that it's going to fail the identity check. So if I go into this, this is my proof of delivery, my freight invoice, and the bill of lading. And there are some details that are mismatched. I think it should be the BOL number 24102. I don't know, maybe one of those details. We will actually see it momentarily. So it's extracting the BOL, the freight invoice is already done, and the POD. And so if you see the icon over here, it's paused. Oh, so this was the one where it passed the identity check, or it did not. Yeah, it passed the identity check. So there is an issue with the quantity and weight check. So how I would see or validate that is by going into Action Center, Validations, and here it's here for my review. And so rule one is clear. I see 5480 matching with 5480. Rule two is where it has actually picked up. So if you see there's 6,200 pounds here and 5,800 pounds here, that's where it has been marked as invalid. Rule three is cleared. Rule four is cleared. So I would submit validation or resubmit validation. Similarly, you could also go in with an identity mismatch, or you could go in with a invoice line item mismatch is going to behave similarly. We can quickly go through that as well. I'll just cut to the results for these three. We have the invoice, we have the CBOL, uh-huh, that's the CBOL, and we have the CPOD. And we're also go into workflows and navigate to runs from here and see that this is running. I'm going to pause here and cut to the validation. Yeah, so it stopped in here. Let me go see where the error or the mismatch has come. So this can be used to prevent frauds in your business and for validating, verifying before paying out the invoices is my validation. Yeah. So a lot of things have gone wrong here. You have the total weight, which is not matching from your bill of lading and the proof of delivery. You have 12,200 and 9840 here. Uh, Rule 2 has passed where the total weight in the invoiced weight is matching with the BOL. And again, the total number of pallets from the BOL and POD is now matching. Total number of pieces in the BOL and POD is not matching. So similarly, you can have any kind of fields validated. You could also validate information coming out of your TMS again, a specific document. Like for example, if you have received a freight invoice, but you want to check with the rate confirmation that is sitting in your TMS, you could do that as well. So hope this makes your life easier. And as always, if you need us to customize any kind of workflows, you can reach out to us and we'll be happy to do the same. Thank you for watching.